Compensating the Wrongfully Convicted by Exonerees.
I was wrongly convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment plus 54 years with no parole.
My name is Jerome Morgan. I'm now 42 years old. I was wrongfully arrested and eventually convicted and sentenced at the age of 17 for murder that I did not commit. I was sentenced to die in prison by the expiration of my life.
I was 19 years old and I got sentenced to 40 to 100 years in prison. I thought that I was going to die in prison, and I'm so happy that I was wrong.
I never stopped trying. Back in 1996, 97, the Innocent Project had my case. It was dismissed because of the fact that, say, all the evidence was destroyed. And from there, I never gave up hope. I kept pursuing, and thank God the hair sample turned up.
I was recently sprung from prison by the Innocent Project. Over the course of many attempts to reach out to outside advocacy and having received indication that my word was being received with an open mind, I kind of lost faith.
I was wrongfully convicted of murder, locked up for 22 years. After the DNA was tested, things definitely started looking a lot brighter.
I lost a lot of family, mother, father, but one day at a time it gets better. I just try to keep a healthy state of mind, and I'm just so grateful. I'm thankful and I'm faithful about how the whole situation turned out.
One day I saw a show called 48 Hours Mystery, and I saw that they could test DNA off one piece of hair and a hat. And that's when I started writing lawyers. After doing all that time, you can really focus on what you need to focus on.
Firstly, I'd like to focus on what do exonerees receive post-prison release. When exonerees are released from the penal system, they do not receive any provision of social services or support in which to rebuild their life. In fact, the majority of exonerees do not receive state compensation, and even fewer receive civil compensation. In 15 states, including Oregon, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, exonerees do not receive any compensation at all. And in 11 states, like Wisconsin, the compensation money will not get you too far. For example, Wisconsin gives exonerees $5,000 each year they were imprisoned and capped this compensation at $25,000. Additionally, in Montana, you would be eligible for free tuition at a state university, but no money. Why this matters? Meaningful compensation and access to consistent, reliable re-entry assistance is a civil rights issue for exonerees, an accountability issue for our justice system, and a social justice issue for all of us. Additionally, some statistics on exonerations show that even the most populated states like California, Texas, and New York predictably have some of the highest rates of exoneration. However, this correlation between state population size and the number of exonerations isn't direct. For instance, Illinois, which ranks 6th in the population, comes 2nd in the number of exonerations. And even though California is the most populous state, it ranks 4th in the number of exonerations, falling behind Texas, Illinois, and New York. Additionally, the National Registry provided a review of exonerations from 1996 to 2016 of exonerees convicted of nonviolent and violent crimes. Intentionally, I used this review because 2016 was a record-breaking year for exonerations in the United States. According to the National Registry, in 2016, 166 people were exonerated. Since 2011, the annual number of exonerations has more than doubled. We now average more than 3 exonerations a week. Specifically, in this statistical review, nonviolent crimes accounted for more exonerations, totaling to 44%, compared to exonerees convicted of murder and manslaughter, totaling up to 33%. Although this review reflects a growing recognition of the importance of the problem, it is astounding that the number of exonerees for nonviolent crimes compared to exonerees of very serious violent crimes are very close in numbers of conviction. So what do these statistics tell us? Texas leads the nation in exonerations. Texas is among 33 states that provide some restitution. Restitution refers to when the court orders an offender to pay quote-unquote restitution, ordering them to pay back the damage caused both to state and to the alleged victims. The court orders restitution in all cases, despite the offender's ability or inability to pay. Additionally, Texas also offers individuals exonerated and released $80,000 per wrongful conviction year, plus annuity. Annuity, which refers to exonerees receiving periodic payments in a fixed size, either monthly, yearly, or for life. Also, Texas provides some integration and financial assistance, plus helping with covering legal fees and missed child support payments. So why should a state compensate the wrongfully convicted? A quote by the Innocence Project. Conceding that no system is perfect, the government's public recognition of the harm inflicted upon a wrongfully convicted person helps to foster his healing process, while assuring the public that the government, regardless of fault, is willing to take ownership of its wrongs or errors. Additionally, I provide valid arguments to support my claim to why a state should compensate the wrongfully convicted. Firstly, exonerees experience difficulty or re-entering society. Exonerees are often denied re-entry programs and state aid precisely because they were exonerated. Many suffer from PTSD and mental health issues. Many experience limited employment prospects, lack of access to training programs, challenges with securing and keeping stable housing, and lack of education and professional training. I provide a proposal for exoneree packages. By guaranteeing compensation to the wrongfully convicted, a state can take an important step to ensure the integrity of the criminal justice system. Firstly, I propose that states that do not have compensation statutes must pass them. 15 states still do not provide compensation for those wrongfully convicted. Secondly, states that have compensation statutes must review and re-examine them to ensure they make meaningful and adequate compensation for those wrongfully convicted. Thirdly, statutes shall provide immediate access to subsistence funds, social services, and monetary compensation for years incarcerated. In depth, I argue that states shall provide monetary compensation and social services. In terms of monetary compensation, I strongly agree that states should provide both subsistence funds plus compensation for the number of years that the exoneree has spent in prison. I strongly agree with the Texas model and framework of exoneree packages. $80,000 per year that the exoneree has spent in prison, plus lifetime annuity that is even eligible to receive up to $80,000 total per year, as long as the exoneree does not convict a felony later on. However, I also believe that mandatory services should be provided, such as psychological and/or counseling services with schedule of reoccurring appointments and checkups weekly, reintegration assistance, such as services that assist in helping exonerees adapt to normalcy, assistance with education and development of workforce skills, and legal services to obtain public benefits, expunge criminal records, and regain custody of children. Additionally, current compensation programs for exonerees, the Witness to Innocence Committee that serves to focus on the issue for compensation for all exonerees, fights for compensation in the states that have no compensation laws and in states where laws are weak. Additionally, the Innocence Project provides petitions for the social justice of exonerees to receive compensation in all 50 states.